Sri Ritesh Pandey.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I would like to thank you for allowing me to present the views of Bahujan Samaj Party and Behan Kumari Mayawati ji. I am an MP from one of India's most densely populated states, and my constituency, Ambedkar Nagar, is primarily rural, agrarian, and poor. And I'm standing here today to say that we as a nation are simply not prepared for the climate crisis. I will talk about three issues: the economy's dependence on coal, the lack of spending on climate change mitigation, and the biodiversity loss. India has made impressive progress in the generation of renewable energy and the adoption of EVs, for which it has rightly achieved international acclaim, and I would like to congratulate the Minister for this.
What is EV? Electric vehicles?
Yes, sir. India consumes less than a third of global average of per capita energy consumption. So India needs to consume more energy, not less, to lift its bottom millions out of poverty and to give better standards of living. But 70% of our energy is fulfilled from coal, and we are facing a pandemic and policy-induced shortage in this fuel. Additionally, our dependence on petroleum keeps our economy totally dependent on these oil-producing states, madam. So, if we are serious about climate change and the economic development, we must reduce our dependence on fossil fuel. But while we are gaining international acclaim for its renewable energy efforts on one hand, the government has made every effort to increase the auction of coal mines on the other. Most of the 33 gigawatt of power generation capacity under construction and the 29 gigawatt in pre-construction stages will end up as stranded assets. We are already witnessing this shift. According to a report authored by the Institute of Energy Economics and Financial Analysis, there have been no new coal plants announced and no movement on the 29 gigawatt pre-construction capacity in the last 12 months. This is because the economics of new coal plants does not make sense. According to the same report, coal-fired plants simply cannot compete with the ongoing cost reductions in renewables. Solar tariffs in India are now below even the fuel cost of running the existing coal-fired plants. So the question remains, why is new coal capacity being prioritized over efforts to update and reform distribution infrastructure of renewable power plants? Additionally, increasing efficiency of existing coal plants is one of the most sustainable sources of untapped energy available to us. If the government is serious about tackling carbon emissions, then why is it that the government progress on increasing energy efficiency for existing power generation? What is the government's progress on increasing energy efficiency on existing power generation? My second point is that we are simply not investing enough funds in our climate change mitigation initiatives. Let us look at the government's numbers of expenditure profile of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, which is, and I quote, the nodal agency of the administrative structure of the central government for planning, promotion, coordination, and overseeing the implementation of India's environmental and forestry policies and programs. In the last 5 years, madam, the ministry is unable to fully spend even the funds it has been allocated by this August House. The amounts of its actual expenditure has been decreasing. In 2019 and 20, the ministry underspent by 417 crores. And the amount of underspending for 2020-21 was a staggering 1,085 crores. In a country of 1.3 billion people, whose vulnerable population will be devastated by climate change, is this how the nodal agency who has to fight climate change should operate? By not being able to utilize the funds it has been allocated by this House. This underutilization becomes even more dire when you look at the spending numbers of Climate Action Plan. which is the government's program to mitigate and adapt to the adverse impact of climate change. The budgeted amount for 2019-20 was a measly 40 crores. The actual expenditure was 23 crores. And then again, the budgeted amount for 2021 was 40 crores, but the revised estimate for last year was just 15 crores. Even Climate Resilient Agriculture Initiative, which aims to enhance resilience of Indian agriculture to climate, is allocated a mega budget of around 50 crores, and even this, madam, is not fully spent. What do I say to the farmers of Ambedkar Nagar about their future, who have already experienced excessive monsoon rains that are destroying their kharif crops and droughts that are destroying their rabi crops? In a population of more than 130 crore people, where heat waves, droughts, floods, unpredictable rains, and snow will destroy livelihoods of millions of poor people, the government is spending only 11 paisa per person on the mitigation of these disasters. In contrast, madam, and this is shameful, the government is spending 81 times more than this amount on advertising. Another aspect of climate change mitigation is that it does not adequately address the loss of biodiversity and the government's role in exacerbating this loss. Climate change and biodiversity are two sides of the same coin, madam. Climate change is one of the main drivers of biodiversity loss, and the biodiversity loss reduces nature's ability to absorb greenhouse gases, thus accelerating change. The government's environmental impact assessment rule of 2020 make it easier than ever before for corporations to ravage, unchecked and unhindered, India's public environmental resources. Last year, madam, a gas leak at a chemical plant in Visakhapatnam that killed 12 people and hospitalized about 585 people was tracked to negligence by LG Polymers, a company that admitted it did not have the environmental clearance. Last year again, an oil well owned by Oil India Limited in Upper Assam caught fire after leakages of about 2 weeks in an area with multiple species of mammals, 300 bird species, and various species of fish and flora. The Himalayas are experiencing more landslides, more floods, and even, and at the same time, the construction of roads, mines, buildings, and dams these things are affecting the Himalayas, and that is because they are not taking into account, while constructing these things, the delicacy of the mountainous ecosystem. According to a report by Climate Central published in 2019, a large region of Mumbai will be completely wiped out by 2050. But during the lockdown, the government cleared about 182 projects that will destroy forests and all the people and animal species dependent on it. Madam, the bottom line is that although we need progress and upliftment, all progress and all upliftment will only be temporary without the protection of our environment and the mitigation of the impacts of climate change. The demand for change must come from the people. But there is simply not enough awareness in India on an issue that is electing and removing governments in other countries. We, the elected representatives of this House, must do more to tackle this knowledge gap through community outreach programs in our constituencies that raise awareness in this, of this crisis. Something I hear often in conversations around India and climate change is that we have bigger issues like poverty, inequality, lack of education access, lack of infrastructure and healthcare. But madam, every one of these issues will be worsened by climate change. Climate change, like COVID-19 pandemic, will disproportionately affect those who have less means of dealing with its impacts. This means that Dalits, women, children, poor farmers, daily wage laborers, small fishermen, and are especially vulnerable. If you care about social justice, you must care about climate change, because there is no social justice without climate change, without climate justice. Madam, at the end, I would also like, through you, to request that with the pandemic, there has been a lot of medical waste which is being burnt that is also harming our efforts to save our environment. There should be special looking into this issue so that this medical bio-waste can also be addressed, this disposal can be addressed in adequate manners. Thank you very much.